Welcome to Clover's Virtual Dance Studio Podcast, a show where we talk about everything and anything dance. And now, here's your host, Deanna Clover.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome day. Are you a choreographer? Or maybe you're a teacher who has to make up many routines for recital? Well, when I first started out teaching, I didn't think I needed to take notes. I would just start choreographing, and then eventually, we would see the kids the next week, and we would try to go over the moves, and we would all forget. I was always kind of hoping that one student would just remember everything, but it didn't always work out that way. I did start writing choreography notes, but I slacked at it, thinking the kids should just memorize it. And some did, but again, not all the time. So through the years, I definitely learned that you should write notes. Another time, I was choreographing for a college dance team audition. I showed up, was doing my thing, and then I forgot some of my choreography. So, now at this particular point, I was not comfortable just making something up on the spot at this point. As time goes on, you get better at doing that if you need to, but I did pull it together, and I ended up remembering some of the choreography I needed, but it was a little embarrassing not remembering my choreography. So definitely have backup and have notes. I know some people like to take video. I don't really like to use video because I would most likely not be able to find the video, and I would get it lost. Or sometimes, these videos take up too much space on whatever device you're using. I do videotape choreography if it's for a bigger project, but I don't always film my choreography. Most of the time, for everything I do, I'm writing it down. I actually have a really large notebook now, and it's all alphabetized by like a theme, or if it's like holiday, I have all my holiday themed dances in one spot in my notebook. I do think, it's important to keep educating yourself. So it's important as a dance instructor to go to workshops or conventions and work on you as a dancer or as an instructor or both. By going to several programs, I did learn some great ways of taking down notes or writing down your choreography. I will be talking about how to write down your notes to make your life way easier if you do it right. And what's great is if you do a good job of this, you can actually, and if you can understand what you wrote, you can always use it again in the future. So that's what's really great about writing your choreography down. You can use it again. And let me state, everyone is different, and we all will choreograph differently and, want to write things down differently. I have found that this way works best for me. The very first thing we're going to do, of course, is pick your song that you're going to use, listen to it many times, and then you're going to write out the counts. So for every 8 counts, I will write the number 8 to the side of my paper. So instead of like numbering your paper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I like number my paper with 8s down the side. Now, obviously, not all songs have an 8. You might have a 4 count break, a 2 count break, whatever it is. I listen to the whole song and I'm counting it out, writing it on the side. Now, depending on how big you write, you might need to put an 8 count every other line. If you write really big, or if you write really, really detailed, you might need to do that. I pretty much just do every line. I try to make it short and sweet. I know we don't always count music. Sometimes we do choreograph to words or accents in the music, but it's always great to know what count you're on and to be professional. And so I kind of do all of it. I number my paper, but as I'm choreographing and writing stuff down, I might use a particular word. So it's definitely good to write it down so ahead of time when, maybe if you're on the spot when you're teaching, maybe you're a guest choreographer. You don't want to just be like, I think it's this count, So it's definitely good to write it down. so we'll just take the song Row, Row, Row Your Boat. So if you count it out, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Yeah, so if you count it out, you're going to get 2 counts of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to get 2 counts of 8. So I would basically, for row, row, row your boat, I would write an 8. I'd write 2 8s on the side of my paper. And then for, where the lines are, I'm going to write out my steps. I'm going to write out my moves on the line for that 8 count. So if you can abbreviate, definitely do that. But if you're going to do that, don't forget your abbreviations. And if you think you are, then just write it out. Sometimes I do, left foot, right foot. I'll put LF or L foot, R foot. I don't know. I don't really use a lot of abbreviations just because I tend to forget what I was meaning. So sometimes I just write everything out. Make sure you write legibly. There's I don't really write legibly, so I have to really try. Because when you go back and you're like, oh yeah, I can't read that. That was not helpful. So really make sure you can read what you're writing and that you understand what you're writing. There's nothing worse than going back to your notes and not being able to read your own handwriting. So yeah. If there is a particular step that you do a lot, come up with a name for it that you will remember. Sometimes I provide my choreography notes to students if needed, or if it's for a group, I might provide it. But again, it's nice to hang on to your notes and then reuse it later. But yeah, so like if you maybe fan your arms to the side, you might call that a rainbow, or make a half circle, whatever's easier for you to remember. I sometimes say fan or rainbow. I use both of them, but I know what I mean. As long as you know what you mean, that's the main thing. But if you are using these notes for other teachers, then definitely make sure all your teachers are on the same page. Especially like for recital, if you have a teacher that's going to be missing class and you want to have your notes, it's always good to make sure they can understand the writing and what you mean by certain moves. And hopefully the kids will, if you're like, I don't know what rainbow is, but hopefully the kids should know what the rainbow move is. I used to not save my notes, but then I would want to use the same song again. For example, let's say it's a particular holiday song that I use once a year. So this is definitely great to have, to already have your notes down. That way you don't have to worry about coming up with new moves. You already got the whole dance. It's, I love it. And maybe add on to it. And then I'll add more choreography to it if needed. Or if there's a solo part, then write that down too. But it's just nice to go to your notes and be like, oh yeah, that works perfectly. If you're a studio owner, maybe you do put on holiday shows. It's great to have notes. Growing up, we would do an annual Christmas show at schools and around our community. And every year they would use the same costumes, and they would teach some new dances would be different, but they would reuse some choreography and teach, the choreography that we used the year before. Another time when I worked on cruise ships, they would teach the current choreography that the dancers were doing to the new dancers. They're not having to recreate choreography. So basically that person would come on the ship, teach the dance. It was all in the notes, and voila. Disney has a position that they call maintenance choreographer. So you're maintaining the choreography. And so basically you're doing the same choreography and you're making sure everybody's on the same page. And you do this by using your show notes. I know other companies have this in place. This is just where I experience these particular positions. And you can see an example of my choreography notes. I'll show you how I do it in case you're still a little lost or you just want to see it, you're a visual learner. I'll have that on my YouTube channel. And to get a free printout of my notes, You can also visit my website, deannaclover.com. That's DEANNACLOVER.com. If you want to be extra fancy, sometimes I like to be extra fancy and I print it out and make it nice. But that is it for now. I hope this helped for you if you're choreographing, or maybe you never really thought about it. And you know what? When you get older, you tend to forget stuff. So I definitely bring my notebook all the time, just in case I forget something. Anyways, guys, that is it for now. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Clover's Virtual Dance Studio podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to join us on social media, including YouTube, TikTok, and more. Thanks again, and keep on dancing.